Law enforcement fights crime in our neighborhoods. The eyes and ears of the community can prove vital in these efforts. Stay vigilant. Your tip could crack the next case. This is a KLFY Plus exclusive. Acadiana Crimestoppers.
Welcome to this week's edition of Acadiana Crimestoppers, a show which partners law enforcement and community to help solve and prevent crime on our streets. In this episode, we will cover the crime of the week parish by parish. We will also talk Lafayette Parish's Most Wanted with Lafayette City Marshal Reggie Thomas. St. Martin Parish Sheriff Beckett Bro also gives us an update on the Iris Davis murder investigation. Detectives with the Acadia Parish Sheriff's Office need your help solving a rash of vehicle burglaries which occurred recently just west of Church Point. Here's Sheriff KP Gibson with the Acadia Parish Crime of the Week.
Detectives with the Acadia Parish Sheriff's Office are investigating the theft of a motor vehicle and vehicle burglaries that occurred in the 500 block of Fabian Drive and the 1700 block of St. Clair Road west of Church Point. These incidents occurred during the early morning hours of June 16, 2026. The stolen vehicle is described as a 2016 Ford Edge white in color. It has since been recovered, but is believed to be related to vehicle burglaries that occurred in the same morning. Two suspects were seen fleeing the area and are only described as being slender in build. Stolen items include a 9mm Taurus G3 pistol, black in color, and currency. If you have any information regarding these crimes, you urge to call the TIPS line at 789-TIPS or download a P3 app on your mobile device to report your tip. All callers will remain anonymous and can receive up to a $1,000 cash reward for information leading to arrest in these cases. Be the difference. For Crimestoppers of Acadia Parish, I'm Sheriff KP Gibson.
If you have any information on this crime, call Crimestoppers at 789-TIPS. You could earn up to a $1,000 cash reward.
Detectives in St. Landry Parish, in partnership with the Opelousas Police Department, are seeking information which could lead to an arrest in an Opelousas shooting which killed an off-duty St. Landry Parish corrections officer. Here's the St. Landry Parish Crime of the Week.
You're watching St. Landry Crimestoppers.
Detective Mike Hidalgo of the Opelousas Police Department returns to Crimestoppers and needs your help in solving a murder in the city of Opelousas.
On April 23, 2024, the Opelousas Police Department responded to shots being fired on the 1100 block of Park Avenue and located multiple shell casings at the scene. Officers were then notified that there were 2 gunshot victims at a local hospital. Witnesses stated they heard about 30 shots coming from the area at the time of the shooting. The investigation revealed that 23-year-old Shantera Mackey Albert, an off-duty St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Corrections Officer, died in the incident. One other person was also shot, but was in stable condition.
Use our QR code on your screen or tip using any mobile device by dialing **tips. Remember to download our P3 app and tap the app to say it here and submit your anonymous tips. On behalf of St. Landry Crimestoppers Board, Sheriff Bobby J. Guitros, and Detective Mike Hidalgo, thank you and have a blessed day.
If you have any information on this crime, call Crimestoppers at 948-TIPS. You could earn up to a $2,500 cash reward.
A Lafayette man has been arrested and charged with sex crimes against children. 27-year-old Colin LeBlanc faces charges of indecent behavior with a juvenile, computer-aided solicitation of a minor, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and carnal knowledge of a juvenile. The investigation remains ongoing. In Evangeline Parish, a mother is speaking out about a hit and run that happened over the weekend. It happened in Ville Platte Saturday evening when her son was hit walking to the store. News 10's Jasmine Dean speaks with the victim's mother about the incident and her cry for help.
Angry and looking for justice, Pam Ardwin says her son was the victim in a hit and run here on Chautauqua Road.
They broke his right arm and fractured a rib.
Pam Ardwin says Saturday evening she sent her son Jarvis to the local dollar store. She says he was walking along the grass on Chautauqua Street as there are no sidewalks when he was struck by a blue truck.
He was walking practically in the ditch when this happened.
Ardwin says in addition to her son being injured, a piece of the mirror from the truck fell off. She says she contacted the Evangeline Parish Sheriff's Office about the incident, but had to file a police report with the Ville Platte Police Department instead.
They came and we did a report, and that's where it ended at for now. until they come forward, or we'll bring them forward.
Ardwin says her son, who wishes to remain off camera, is angry and in a lot of pain. She says they are seeking justice and want the person responsible to come forward.
He wants justice. You know, he really wants justice.
In Ville Platte, Jasmine Dean, KLFY News 10.
And we reached out to both the Evangeline Parish Sheriff's Office and Ville Platte Police for more information. The Sheriff's Office confirmed Ville Platte Police are leading the investigation. The Ville Platte Police Chief says he is reviewing what information is currently available. Authorities in Lafayette are looking for some fugitives wanted for OWI, domestic violence, among other offenses, and that's why we've invited Lafayette City Marshal Reggie Thomas. Once again, you're a fixture on our Acadiana Crimestoppers show. This is Lafayette's Most Wanted. We've been doing this for a year and a half, and it's continuing to yield results.
And every time I come, one of the things I like to do is just say thank you. And the thank you is for Acadiana, it's for the community. You know, when we do these shows, we get calls, and we get calls at our office, not only from people that watch us, but we get calls from people that we are showing up here. And they want to say, well, hey, my picture's up there, you know, I'm ready to come turn myself in. And, you know, we work with people and we get them to turn themselves in. So that's why this show works. You know, last time I was on here, I must have showed 3-4 different people that turned themselves in. And the reason it works is because people watch this show, people see their relatives, see somebody they know, and they contact that person, or they contact our office. And then the person will contact us. You know, I always say arrest is not always the answer, but you have to get this off your record. You cannot be around a community with warrants, and especially OWIs. When I took office, one of the things I said was we will not tolerate OWIs and we will not tolerate domestic violence. So today I brought along a domestic violence warrant along with OWIs also today.
Yes, you guys ensure that the wheels of justice keep turning.
Yes.
All right, with that being said, let's go into our first person for this week. Jesse Joseph Andrews, domestic abuse battery. There it is, first offense. Has an extensive criminal history, and so that's really important to note. And he failed to appear to pay the fine, but he has an extensive criminal history, and it's a pretty serious charge. Well, they're all serious, but domestic abuse battery, you're not going to tolerate it.
And it's not a time that I've shown somebody with domestic violence that within a week they're not arrested or they have turned themselves in. Domestic violence, when you think about it, is somebody that's either living in the residence, somebody next door to you, you know, somebody still within the city. You know, it's not like you're going to move away because you had a domestic violence situation. So we know that either he's watching or we know somebody in the community know who he is. So we ask that you give us a call, or even if he sees himself right now, to give us a call, turn yourself in, and get this behind you.
All right, our second person for this week, Willie George Henderson, domestic abuse, another one, first offense, failure to appear for arraignment, and no bond.
And again, when you see no bond, is this like the judge you had appeared in front of the judge and the judge have given you things to do, or set another date, everybody come to court, witnesses, the DA, you know, and it costs to do that. So everybody is in court, but you don't show up. So it's disrespect not only to the judge, the court, to the whole system. So that's why sometimes you see no bond. It's because the judge wants you to come back in front of him. So if you know who this is, and again, I always say domestic violence is somebody right in your community. It's somebody next door. It's probably somebody that you see every single day. Contact us, or if you see yourself on here, contact my agency and we will come pick you up, or you can turn yourself in.
Yeah, domestic abuse always way too local. Jacob Bates Provost, OWI, first offense, committed OWIs in Lafayette, or a OWI in Lafayette rather, and he failed to appear to pay his fine.
And again, that's somebody who came to court but did not come back to court. Driving while intoxicated, operating while intoxicated, very serious. You know, everybody knows somebody who's been injured. Even some people know people that were killed in drunk driving situations. Well, we expect if you did that, we expect you to come to court, get the consequences that the judge gave you, and do what the judge needs you to do. You know, you cannot do these type of things without having some type of punishment or something. So you ask you to come back to court. When you don't come to court, then this is what happened. You can turn yourself in, you can contact our agency, or somebody out there knows who this is.
All right.
Contact us.
All right, our last person for this week, Nicole Renee Menard, in OWI, first offense. She failed to appear to pay the fine and for the review hearing, and because of that, she has no bond as well.
Yeah, and you see first offense, and I put first offense because we want it to be your last offense. If you get 3 OWI offenses, nobody should get 2, nobody should get 3, but then it starts being a felony, and it get worse and worse. So if you're not going to take care of your business on the first offense, then we believe that it's going to continue. So because we believe it's going to continue, then we're going to bring you in, and we're going to bring you in front of the judge. And again, I said earlier, when a judge wants to see somebody, you see no bond on there. And no bond means that you will face the judge. You will have to go in that courtroom, and you will have to face the judge in reference to why you did not show up for court. We're very serious about OWIs, and we want people to be serious about it also, because we know the after effects of the OWIs is that people can be seriously injured, and if nothing happens or you get no consequences, then you're going to continue to do it. So this is the OWI first offense. We want it to be the last offense. So that's why we're looking for her, and we want her to turn herself in, or if you know her, contact my office.
Yes, because an OWI, once you get behind that wheel intoxicated, everyone on the street is a potential victim.
Yes.
Absolutely. So here's our person where his warrant has been cleared for this week, Simon Caesar. So his warrant has been cleared. He's been on our show. Everyone that we do like this, they've been on the show, yes. And now his warrant has been cleared. So it shows the progression, and it shows how if you take care of business, your warrant can be cleared, and your picture hopefully will not show up anymore.
Yeah, and it could be cleared in so many different ways, and I talk about that every week. It's not that you turn yourself in and you're going to automatically go to jail. It's not that. Sometimes it get reset. Sometimes you go in front of the judge again. Sometimes you got to pay a fine. It's a lot of things that can happen to get it cleared. So you don't always have to go to jail. But if you continue to hide and you continue not to cooperate, then that's where you're going to wind up at, in jail.
Hopefully we have about 10 warrants cleared because people will be turning themselves in.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much for being here, Marshall.
And thank you for having me.
We'll be back.
This is a KLFY Plus exclusive, Acadiana Crimestoppers.
Authorities in St. Landry Parish need your help finding this wanted man, 28-year-old Scotty Landry. Landry is facing cruelty to juvenile charges. His last known address is the 1000 block of Old Spanish Road in Opelousas. If you have any information on Landry's whereabouts, call St. Landry Crimestoppers at 948-TIPS. Lafayette police need your help identifying 2 suspects. The 2 individuals in this video are wanted by authorities as part of an active burglary investigation. If you know the identity of these suspects, you can contact the Lafayette Police Department or submit your tip to Lafayette Crimestoppers at 337-232-TIPS. A man was rearrested Tuesday after investigators allegedly discovered more than 200 electronic files of suspected child abuse materials. He had previously been arrested 3 weeks ago as part of an undercover operation in Lafayette, but he made bail. Tonight, 10 days later, he's back behind bars. News 10's Renee Allen brings us the details.
The Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office played a part in the initial arrest of 56-year-old Kenneth Shane Harris of West Monroe. Allegedly is here in Lafayette Parish, where Harris was set to meet who he believed to be a minor he met online. Supervisory Special Agent Chris Masters is with the Louisiana Bureau of Investigation, Office of Attorney General Liz Murrell. Several weeks ago, agents conducted an online predator operation with Lafayette Parish law enforcement.
And during that operation, he communicated with whom he believed was a child and arranged to meet that child for sexual purposes.
Officials who had already seized Harris's phone as evidence obtained a search warrant. From that warrant, they reportedly discovered more than 200 additional files of suspected child sexual abuse materials.
When AG Murrell took office, one of her goals was to have all 64 of our parish sheriff's offices on the same task force And we worked towards that over the last 2 years, and that goal's been accomplished.
Officials say the U.S. Marshal Service also assisted with bringing in Harris for a second time.
You know, the 98% of the people of the residents of the state of Louisiana are great people that just want to live their life, and 2% affect negatively that 98%. So our goal is to put pressure, consistent pressure on that 2%. And make them realize that they can't keep affecting the 98% that are good, hardworking people.
Renee Allen, KLFY News 10.
Investigators with the St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Office are seeking the public's assistance in locating a Lafayette man wanted on attempted murder charges. 20-year-old Devontre Williams of Lafayette is wanted for his involvement in a shooting which happened in St. Martinville in the afternoon hours of May 17, 2026. Deputies arrived on scene to find one victim suffering from 2 gunshot wounds to the hip. The victim was transported to the hospital for treatment. If you know the whereabouts of Williams, contact St. Martin Crimestoppers at 337-441-3030 or via the P3 Tips mobile app.
This is a KLFY Plus exclusive, Acadiana Crimestoppers.
Welcome back. In Evangeline Parish, a man has been arrested for attempting to smuggle contraband to an inmate inside a courtroom back in May. 34-year-old Deshaun Caesar was identified by correctional officers as the suspect who attempted to smuggle paper wrapped in plastic known as mojo paper or synthetic marijuana to an inmate in court. Through the course of the investigation, the drugs were seized and Caesar was arrested. He is being charged with 4 felony counts, including possession and distribution charges, as well as introduction of contraband into a penal facility. On July 21, 2025, the body of 16-year-old Iris Davis was found near her grandmother's residence where she lived. Multiple law enforcement bodies in St. Martin Parish have continued to investigate her murder. St. Martin Parish Sheriff Beckett Bro gives us an update on the direction of the investigation.
An innocent person, 16-year-old child that got killed and had a life ahead of her that got killed by someone.
Iris Davis was officially reported missing on July 17, 2025. A few days later, her body was located and her death was ruled a homicide. St. Martinville police initiated the investigation, but more than 6 months later, the St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Office and Louisiana State Police are also assisting.
As much resources we can put together, that's what we want to do, is put our resources together and be able to find the individual responsible for this.
St. Martin Parish Sheriff Beckett Bro takes us to the location where Davis's body was found.
A 16-year-old child that lost her life. And where we're standing right here, Trevor, is within feet of where she was murdered.
The investigation has had updates, with multiple people arrested, but no one has yet to be charged with her murder. The St. Martinville Police Department arrested Davis's grandparents, Eugene and Grace Taylor, back in August of last year on contributing to the delinquency of a minor and cruelty to juvenile charges. The St. Martinville Police Department arrested the grandparents, but that was unrelated to her murder, correct?
That's correct.
Also arrested were Desmond Flugents and Darren Francis for carnal knowledge of a juvenile. Sheriff Bro confirmed these charges stemmed from evidence recovered during the course of the investigation. However, he did not elaborate further on if these charges were tied to her murder.
There's people of interest that we're looking at, and like I said, sooner or later, those individuals or that individual will come to justice.
Sheriff Bro acknowledges the anxiety of the public as the community awaits justice for Iris.
The wheels of justice never moves as fast as we'd like.
But explains investigators do not release everything to the public, ensuring the investigation doesn't get compromised.
There's information that we, don't always give to the public because there's certain things that we know, and if it comes out, we know that only the person that would know that would be the individual at the crime scene.
But he wants to assure the public they are very close.
We believe we're really close because we got the clothes, and like I said, we're doing DNA on items that were picked up at the scene.
Sheriff Bro says he has taken this case personally and won't rest until justice is served. He is asking the public for help and tips to St. Martin Parish Crimestoppers.
Working together to make a difference. Trevor, that's what we try to do. We work together, and the only way we can solve this crime is having the public, working with law enforcement to be able to help us and put us in the right direction.
This is a KLFY Plus exclusive, Acadiana Crimestoppers.
Welcome back. Our partnership with law enforcement continues next week. Join us as we show you more wanted fugitives throughout Acadiana. Lafayette City Marshal Reggie Thomas, of course, he'll be back with us once again. We'll see what other suspects he is looking for. We will also profile crimes of the week throughout Acadiana and detail how you can help authorities crack those cases. We appreciate you tuning in to Acadiana Crimestoppers exclusively on KLFY+. We will be back next week detailing the latest crimes to be solved and perps to bring to justice.